Hey Crosswatchers for Taurus. This is going to be a general video for those of you who are interested in a Taurus, curious about a Taurus. We're going to check in here and see what is going on with our Taurus friends, loved ones, interests. I just want to clarify something, you guys. I don't do these videos as a means for like spilling tea or getting into anybody's dirty laundry. My intention is I always ask for the information that's going to come in to be of the best and highest good for both the Taurus and the Crosswatcher, you know, to bring in information that's going to lead to healing, to some constructive, positive outcomes. And to bring healing if possible. So that's my purpose here, to help like strengthen relationships, not to spy, not to get into anybody's super personal details. So we're going to see what is going on for those of you who are curious about a Taurus or dating a Taurus or interested in a Taurus for the month of July. All right, my dears. And those of you who are regulars on my channel, you might kind of notice we have a little bit of a different setup here. I don't have my summer mermaid theme that I have in the weekly forecast. That's going to come back in the weekly forecast. But for the Crosswatcher video, I'm just doing a little bit more regular setup. I'm not doing the mermaid theme, but we'll see what is coming up for Taurus and Crosswatcher in the month of July. Okay, my dear. So, ooh, all right, Crosswatcher, we have the Star coming up. And so the Star is a card about long-term plans, and it's about like the worst of something being over, being able to put something behind you. So those of you who've been dealing with a Taurus, maybe your Taurus has been going through some hard times or has had to make some difficult decisions lately, and they might be like in this energy where now is the time that they can begin kind of catching their breath. Now is the time that they can begin looking in the future and making long-term plans. The Star card for me is also a card having to do with getting stabilized in your life. Some people don't realize this, they don't know this, but the Star card actually symbolizes like comfortable retirement. So your Taurus may be really thinking long term, maybe really thinking about ahead, about like the future, and coming into a time of being able to take their more recent kind of challenges or trials and use them to their benefit in some way. I do feel some of you are dealing with a Taurus who's been going through a legal divorce or a legal battle for some time. And I feel in July it's going to be coming to an end. It's going to finally be done and settled. And, you know, they're going to be receiving some kind of settlement, or they're going to be receiving some kind of like money or something that maybe had been loaned to them. Some kind of justice is coming for Taurus in some way. Some of you don't like Taurus. It's one of the most common things that I see in the comments. I'm a Scorpio sun and a Taurus moon, and I see a lot of hate for Scorpios and Taurus in the comments sometimes, so some of you might not like hearing that, you know. I will say this: if you're here because you're dealing with a lower vibrational Taurus, or a Taurus who has a lot of healing to do and they hurt you in the process, that message is probably not for your Taurus. This is more for this one particular message about the retribution or the reimbursement or the victory is going to be more so for a Taurus that's been fighting their battles and doing their work and you know, coming out of their karma and clearing their karma. Because I do feel, again, there's again some kind of something happening here with leaving a karmic relationship or a karmic situation and finally being ready to make long-term plans about what they're going to do in the long run in their life. A lot of you are going to be seeing a lot of changes in this Taurus where they're coming out of their shell. You might be surprised and they might be wanting to get out more, or they might be wanting to be seen. You know, and this could be good and it can be bad, depending on, again, the maturity level of your Taurus and how high vibrational they are. If you're dealing with a high vibrational Taurus, this is going to be, somebody who's making plans and dreams and really, connecting with their creativity and looking for ways of being productive and like helping other people. If you're dealing with a lower vibrational Taurus, then you could be dealing with someone who is wanting a lot of attention at this time, like wanting to be seen, wanting to be, in some cases, maybe even worshipped. Okay, so be aware of this. Your Taurus, right? Each of you are going to be dealing with, either low vibe or high vibe or somewhere in between. But overall, I think Taurus is having this life lesson moment early on in the month of July about having a chance to turn their life around and being seen and making plans for their future. I feel they're doing things and wanting to secure their financial future, especially. In the process, some of you might kind of feel like your Taurus is trying to compete with you in some way or show you up in some way. Like, um, again, if it's a high vibrational Taurus, it could be somebody that's making plans with you and wanting to do something with you in terms of establishing a business or establishing something long term for your future, financial plans, business plans, things like that. If it's a lower vibrational Taurus, they might be more about like how they can get attention, how they can get recognition, how they can get things in the relationship that are going to be serving them. So I'm going to say this to you, Crosswatcher. Pay attention for red flags. It's simple as that. If something's not quite sitting right in your gut, or if you feel in some way, maybe this Taurus is being an opportunist in some way, listen to your gut feeling. If something seems off, kind of maybe ask a lot of questions, because if they are trying to pull you into planning for the future, you need to be clear about how this is going to affect you, what's in it for you. These are not selfish things, Crosswatcher. These are things that you need to do to protect yourself or to know. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to think about something. Don't feel like you have to answer right away. I just feel that a lot of you are dealing with a Taurus that has a lot of ambition in the early part of July. And it's going to be up to some of you to just kind of keep an eye on it and figure out, is this healthy ambition? Is this a little bit over the top? And, kind of figure out how you want to respond or how involved you want to get. You might kind of feel like, okay, well, if that's your dream and if that's what you want to go for, you can go for it, but I'm not going to invest in that. I'm not going to put money down in that, or I'm not going to get involved in that. You might, have certain things that you're going to separate yourself from or not like go in on it with them. So again, I think your Taurus might be a little bit like they have this taste of freedom all of a sudden. They weren't free for a while. They have some taste of freedom, and they might just be like, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do that, and it might be up to you to just kind of be a little bit more of the grounding energy for some of you. And some of you might be like, I don't have time for that. And hey, if you don't have time for that, I respect that too. You've got Ace of Fire. Taurus is like ready to go. Taurus in July is like a kid in a candy store. They want to do everything. They want to try everything. They want to taste everything. They are doing it in a way where they feel like they're planning for their future, or they're making things happen for the future, or they're bringing in some kind of finances here. Also very much in their passion, in their excitement. I feel that a lot of you are dealing with a Taurus whose root chakra is being unblocked. Okay, they might be going through some kind of clearing, some kind of a release. And as a result, sometimes when the root chakra gets unblocked, Somebody can become highly sexual, very, very sexual. Or if the root chakra is overly active, if it's going the other extreme, right? Not just open but overly active. I do feel like some of you are dealing with a Taurus that just is really, really focused on physical pleasures, wanting to be seen, wanting to be adored. It's not necessarily a negative thing or a negative trait. It depends on you, Crosswatcher, and where you are and what you're looking for. But I really, really feel like your Taurus is very, very excitable in July. Excitable in the sense that like they want to like just really be in the physical, smell, touch, taste, sound, feel, like they really want to be in that physical energy. Your Okay, here we are. Your next card here is Seven of Air. And Seven of Air, or Seven of Swords, again, your Taurus has a plan. They have a plan of what they want to do in their life. They might not be thinking about how it's going to affect you because they think in their minds this is the best thing. They full on 100% believe that they have it figured out. They've got this plan. This is going to be great. This is going to set you guys up for retirement. This is going to set you guys up for like a secure, happy, abundant future. And you're just going to like live the high life, and they're not maybe considering, your feelings about it or how it's going to affect you. They might be more focusing on, what they feel needs to be done for this outcome. And so they might be trying to convince you in some ways that this is going to be a good idea or that this is something that you should do if you're dealing with a low vibrational Taurus. Okay, if you're dealing with a higher vibrational Taurus, this is going to be a Taurus who basically is trying to get you to think outside of the box. And I do feel this is coming to a make it or break it moment for you guys, Crosswatcher, for you in your Taurus. Your Taurus is clear about what they want to do, and they're not going to be negotiating it, right? So they're either going to try to help you think outside of the box, but if you're dealing with a lower vibrational Taurus, then that lower vibrational Taurus is going to straight up be manipulative. Lower vibrational Taurus will just straight up be trying to convince you that you should do what they're telling you to do, or that they have it figured it out and it's going to be a good thing for you. And they might even kind of use your own little insecurities against you. So if something doesn't feel right, Crosswatcher, listen to that. Listen to your gut feeling. For those of you dealing with a higher vibrational Taurus, they might have this very clear idea about where they want to go, and they might be in a situation where they feel like what they're offering you is a win-win situation. Like, it's going to be good for them, it's going to be good for you. This is a solid plan, this is a solid idea. But if it doesn't resonate with you, or if you don't feel comfortable about it, then please, I'm asking you, don't do it. Don't do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. I just feel for a lot of you, you're going to be dealing with this Taurus that's like really ready to go out there, to be seen, to experience life, and maybe even do some off the wall kind of stuff here. And if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, don't feel like you have to give in. Don't feel like, oh, well, I don't want to be a nerd, or I don't want to be a prude, or I don't want to be a scaredy cat. No, if it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. That's my concern here, for the Crosswatcher, okay? But just keep in mind that you're dealing with a Taurus that's like very, very like full on, like they have a plan, they know what they want to do, they want to move forward with it, and they're not really thinking too much about um why it might not be a good idea. They're more focused on the positive aspects of it and how it can work, and something that's very liberating for them. I feel like a lot of you are dealing with a Taurus that's just been cooped up for so long that they're finally getting a taste of freedom. And now that they have this taste of freedom, like they're going they're going full force. They're just going full force. They're going like no holds barred. Like they're they've been so restricted for so long. Now that they have this freedom, like the sky's the limit, and they're like, you only live once, and they're just wanting to do all of these really really uh experimental or unconventional things, or unconventional like bucket list kind of stuff. And some of it for you, like it might be like, okay, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm in that energy. I don't know if that resonates with me. And if it doesn't, Crosswatcher, don't feel bad to say no. Don't do something because you feel pressured to do it. Your next card here is Queen of Water. So this is a very nurturing card. Queen of Water is an empath type energy. This could be you, Crosswatcher. Okay, so you might have to be the one that's bringing in some water, even though Taurus is an earth sign. This is like fiery kind of energy, and so you might have to be the one that's bringing in that water to cool it down or to calm it down a bit. You might have to be um the voice of reason here, or the one who's thinking more like long term about what might be ahead, the consequences of actions, things of that nature. Queen of Water is very giving, she's very loving, she's very nurturing, she's very empathetic, she's very intuitive. I feel that this is about a gentle strength, Crosswatcher. So you're going to have this opportunity with your Taurus in July, where you're going to have an opportunity to set your boundaries and to come into this energy and to be like, you know what, like, this is where my power is. This is where my belief is. This is how I choose to do things. And to stand your ground and to do what is good for you, right? Not to feel bad, not to feel pressured. You might be somebody that's given a lot to Taurus. You might have been very loving, very nurturing, very giving towards them, right? But now is the time where you need to draw the line and be loving and nurturing and giving towards yourself. Some of you cross watchers are going to be leaning on a water sign female, Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or just some kind of intuitive person, or somebody that's going to be able to come in and give you some advice or some guidance about the situation. I feel, Crosswatcher, that you're going to have to make some big decisions, and Queen of Water is asking you to make the decisions that feel good to you, that you feel safe with, that you feel comfortable with, and also to not hesitate in seeking out the counsel or the advice of a wiser, nurturing, experienced person who's going to be able to help you get in touch with your emotions and your feelings and make the decisions that are going to honor what feels good for you or what feels right for you. Your next card here is Nine of Air. And Nine of Air is a card of anxiety or feeling stuck or feeling trapped. So, Crosswatcher, you might be feeling anxiety for a few different reasons. You might be like, oh my goodness, what in the heck is Taurus doing? What if they make a mistake? What if they mess up? Or what if I don't want to do what they're doing and then they don't want to be with me anymore, or they pick somebody else, or they've chosen someone else, or what if they don't come back to me? Nine of Air is a lot of anxieties and a lot of fears and a lot of feeling stuck. But I love the way that it's showed on this card. Some of you also, I'm sorry, let me backpedal a little bit. Nine of Air can also be a card about insomnia, like not getting enough sleep, not being able to rest. You're going to have big decisions to make with your Taurus in the month of July. And so that stress or that anxiety could be causing you sleeplessness. And what happens, guys, when we're emotional and we can't sleep, And then because we haven't slept, we become even more emotional. It becomes this vicious cycle. And it's never good to make big decisions when we're exhausted. It's never good to make big decisions when we're tired. So Spirit is asking you to do what you can to make sure you're getting some rest. Find some natural ways of unwinding. Maybe take a nice warm bath before bed, drink some sleepy time, chamomile, or lavender tea, maybe some aromatherapy, meditation, prayer, whatever that you can do to just kind of calm your mind and calm your spirit and make sure you're getting enough rest so you can make better decisions. But, Nine of Air is like this fear or this anxiety. But the thing that I love about the way that it's shown on this card, she's kind of standing here on like this little cliff thingy, right? And she seems hesitant. Like she's hesitant to move and she maybe feels a little bit stuck there. And she has her arms out, but she's just kind of staying there. And all the birds are flying around her as if to remind her, like, see how we're able to fly through the air? See how we're all circling around you? Like they're trying to draw her attention to their wings and the fact that they're flying. And to me, it feels like they're trying to remind her that she has wings. She's forgetting her power. She's forgetting that she has wings. She's forgetting that she's not stuck here and that she can fly off away from here and go wherever she wants and do whatever she wants. She's not stuck there. So that is something, Crosswatcher, you're going to have to remember about your Taurus, because if you're going to agree to something and if you don't share their vision, it's not fair to you and it's not fair to Taurus either, right? So don't make a decision or a commitment because you feel pressure to, or because you feel stuck, or because you feel you have no other option. Life goes on, right? You will find another place if this doesn't feel right for you. Your Taurus will heal and will get over it and find somebody who's going to be more aligned if you're not, aligned. Some of you want to do what Taurus wants to do, but you are doubting yourself, or you're in this fear of what other people are going to think. And again, Nine of Air just wants you to know life goes on. There's a solution to everything. You just have to look at the situation from a different angle. You need to give yourself some rest. You need to give yourself some time to just kind of step away from the fear and reapproach it with a clear head. Okay? But I just feel like a lot of you are dealing with this crossroads with your Taurus in July, where your thinking is being challenged or your priorities are being challenged, and it's going to be up to you to decide what kind of life you want to live. This feels like a choose your own adventure kind of moment here, right? So you're going to have a big decision to make with your Taurus. Your Taurus maybe wants to live in a way where they feel a lot more free, and maybe for them what seems free doesn't seem free to you. Or maybe you really like the idea but you're afraid of what other people are going to think. It's something that you're going to have to take up into meditation, something you're going to have to take up into prayer, and know and understand that you don't have to do anything that doesn't feel right for you. If it doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it. This is a big moment of growth for you. I would really definitely also check out your love reading for July. That's going to be up in the next 24 to 48 hours from the time this video is posted. So be sure to check out your love video. Check out your weekly forecast as well. That might bring a little bit more information for you, Crosswatcher. Because it'll be more about you and less about the Taurus. But yeah, big decisions to make here. And if you would like a private reading, obviously I'm more than happy to do that for you. If you go to the description, there's a link to schedule a reading with me. And if you click on the different reading options, it'll open up and it'll show you the pricing. I mean, I've got readings starting at $20 and up. So there's some affordable options there. And you're not going to get charged for clicking on the reading. You can't get charged unless you enter your information. So believe me, you don't have to be worried about that. But if you want a private reading, obviously I'm more than happy to do that as well. I thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I'm wishing you a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous July.